Hello. Thank you for joining me here. We're moving forward in the workbook for students with this conversation to lesson 20. There's a lot to say. So, while we could just recite the day's idea and leave it at that, letting it speak for itself, as adult learners, we find we need so much more. In our vast and really weird, yet, well, all too prevalent tendency to complicate all life, we need more. The idea here in lesson 20 is simply this: I am determined to see. Hmm. Very simple, very, very powerful. I am determined to see. And yes, that implies that I don't see now. Exactly. We don't see things as they are. This whole course, not just the workbook for students that we're talking about in this dialogue, but all of it, it is, well, here, and we're studying it and practicing it because we don't see things as they are, and this will help us see them as they are. That perceiving truly, we don't perceive things as they are. This course helps us to perceive them as they are, truly. That is a prerequisite for awakening. It will not happen for us fully and permanently until we learn to see. Along the way, you may have glimpses, and many of you have. Yeah. Powerful beyond words. Yeah. Yes. If you haven't, you may. But here we all appear to be, and our work, forgiving the mind's miscreation, is exactly the same, setting the ego aside. Our work is exactly the same. Yes, we may appear to be on different parts of wobbling spinning ball of rock. We may appear to be different genders. We may appear to be different ages, in different economic brackets, and all of our weird subdivisions like tax brackets and voting districts and conservancy districts and stuff, just stuff, stuff, all of that. This lesson is all about our determination to see. Now, we're at lesson 20 in the workbook, and if you've done the workbook for students before, you'll know exactly what we're about to talk about here. If you are doing it currently and you're beyond lesson 20, wherever you are, no problem, right? You'll know that in the commentary for this section, Jesus introduces structure. The previous 19 lessons have not been particularly structured in terms of the practice periods. And as you well know, if you've done it, they get more structured as we go along. But they start off rather loosely because no one is going to learn anything if they feel coerced. And Jesus comes right out and tells us that. I mean, you'll never see, the way he puts it is, you'll never see if you regard yourself as coerced. No kidding, right? No kidding. That's not going to happen. That if you feel obligated, how far does that get us in life? I mean, we're all grown-ups. We've all done the exact opposite of what people in our eyes, coerced us or ordered us to do. Huh, yeah, exactly. So that's smart. Right. Deep down, we know that we want peace. We want to see things as they are. We want salvation. We do. We want it. And we don't have them because our mind is completely undisciplined. It's completely haphazard. It's undisciplined. People say all the time, oh, I have ADD, and they act like it as well, right? I don't know. People have difficulty concentrating on things. They have difficulty remembering things. And we just seem to worship this wobbling, spinning, frantic life where everyone is completely off balance, where being stressed out is a badge of honor. Right? Maybe it's not as much of a badge of honor in the society that you live in, but this broadcast is taking place in the United States. Case in point, a fast-moving ball of stress eating itself, obviously. And this has repeated itself throughout history in different societies all over, including some of yours that are now slightly more peaceful than this chaotic thing that we've got going on over here. And it doesn't really make any difference where in the world you are, and it doesn't make any difference what we call a timeline we're in or experiencing. There's no such thing as time. As long as we don't see things as they are, there's no awakening. All we get are glimpses, which are powerful, powerful indeed, and enough to sustain us for a long time, for sure, right? As some of you know. Yeah. But we all have to admit that our mind is completely undisciplined. And here Jesus expounds on that, saying we can't distinguish between love and fear. We can't distinguish between pleasure and pain. We can't distinguish between joy and sorrow. So we need to learn to do that because we're not doing it on our own. That's the point. We cannot. We need this guidance. Enter this course. Our mind is undisciplined. So let's discipline it and learn to recognize joy and sorrow, pleasure and pain, love and fear. Recognize and set the painful stuff to the side. This is a course in mind training. If you came for something else, what can we tell you? And I know some of you did come for something else. Yeah. This isn't about flattery. It's not about stroking your ego or trying to spiritualize your job or your body. What body? It's not about trying to spiritualize the world. What world? There is no world. The central teaching of this course. We're all perfectly at home in God where we've always been. If you've never heard that before, you will no longer be able to unhear it. Excellent. There is no world. There is no world. Exclamation point. I mean, let that sit. As long as you feel able, you're possibly, and most of us do at some point, categorically reject that. That is part of what we call the spiritual path and part of what we call our growth. And really, it's just a shedding. It's a shedding of a veil, pulling layers off a veil, or shedding layers of dead skin, or something like that. Whatever visual analogy helps you. It's an unlearning. We don't see things as they are. And in order to see them as they are, we've got to unlearn our current thought system that posits us as individual human beings on planet Earth. What does that even mean? Nothing. And maybe this is a new idea to you. There's a reason you're here listening to this. Of course, you're always invited to stick around to the end, but a pixelated image on your screen is not going to stop you from navigating away. It can't stop the scroll. Only you can do that. What we're after here is that we're learning to tell these things apart. We're learning to distinguish joy and sorrow, love and fear, pleasure and pain. We're learning to distinguish that. We cannot right now. They're all intertwined, and our mind is completely undisciplined because it can't distinguish that. So we train it to distinguish that. The idea I'm determined to see is very simple. This determination to see is all that vision requires. That's all that's required is a determination to see. Why? Because what you want is yours. Ooh, yeah. What you want is yours. What you desire, you will see. You will. Now, you may be thinking, okay, I can feel the questions arising. What about manifestation? Oh, yeah, yes, tell me about that. Okay. Yeah, it's true that what you want, right? What you desire, you will see. All of these practices that we see in the modern spiritual marketplace operate on this very principle, which of course applies. However, the premise that all of these start from is that this world is real, that the body is real, that your bank account is real, feels real, right? What you want, you see. If you want fabulous wealth and great influence, boom. That maybe doesn't show up right away, but what you want, you see. What you desire, you see. These practices stop way, way short of what we're after with this course. What you desire, you will see. If you want to see things as they really are, if you want to see the world for what it is not, if you want to see yourself for what you are, what you desire, you will see. I am determined to see. Go beyond the mere material stuff. Bigger bank account, great, fantastic. Yeah, we all need money here. This course isn't about getting that. It's way beyond all of that, as you may have noticed. That's why it doesn't talk about getting more stuff. Want more stuff? Fine, get more stuff. But should you want the peace of God, why don't you hone in on that instead? Go beyond the mere getting stuff, currying favor with people, and winning influence here in the world. Power, prestige, stuff, right? Go beyond that. This is a course in miracles. It's not about making yourself rich or sexy. Not at all. I mean, should you follow this course, will you become rich and sexy? Well, I don't know, maybe. Maybe not. Oh, what does that even mean? Hmm. This course helps you to see things as they really are. So want that. Be determined to see. I am determined to see. And practice this idea as Jesus suggests that you do. And if you forget about it, you can come back to it tomorrow, right? Who hasn't gone through the workbook for students and spent at least several days forgiving themselves for forgetting the idea from the day before completely? Maybe you read it once, first thing in the morning, and then, you wake up the next day and think, oh, well, I guess I didn't practice that one. And I think we can all relate to that. The first time I did the workbook, that happened to me dozens of times. Right? It's a course in mind training. We learn to train the mind. This course isn't about getting stuff in the world. There is no world. It's not about making the body hotter and more appealing to other bodies. What bodies? I mean, it's just not about that. So if that's what you came for, this isn't it. It's so much more. And you have stuck this conversation out until pretty much the end for a reason. Something has to have hit home for you, whether it felt kind of brutally honest or whether it felt really gentle as a confirmation of something you've always known. Yeah, yes, you have always known who you are. You still know. All right. So I thank you for joining me. Yeah, I'd love to sit here and tell you that this course is for everyone in the world. Actually, it is because there's no separation of any kind. But, I mean, who's really ready to go there? Right? The reason you don't see more people flocking to A Course in Miracles is because it doesn't aim to get you stuff, for you to boom manifest more cash and a hot, sexy lover and weekend retreats in Provence and Greece and fabulous stuff, Costa Rica, um, full of hot, sexy bottles of wine and a hot date and some fancy, cool threads. And I mean, if that's what you want, fantastic, great. We're invited to go beyond that. And you want to know what? You're ready, or you wouldn't still be here. Ooh, it's true. You know that. That's what's important, is that, you know, you believe in your own ability. There are days where we all doubt that, but that is why these communities exist. That's why this YouTube channel exists, to ask questions if you need them answered, if you have them, to reach out. Yeah, I'm happy to help with that. You deserve nothing less than what this course says and means. I mean, at some point, we all recognize that, man, I've been spinning my wheels. I've been running around in the same circle too long. Let's change our paradigm completely. Let's go beyond surface level stuff to the truth of what really is. You deserve nothing less than that, and you've always known what that is. So bring it to your mind, forefront, front and center. Thank you. All right. So questions, once again, are more than welcome. Please feel welcome to leave them here in the comment thread, and subscribe if you have not. The prompt is this little thing, that icon over there in the corner of your screen that's been up on. Yeah, if you're wondering what that is, just click it, subscribe, and join us. It's an international community that we're using the modern technological tool of the internet to converse with one another from all over the wobbling, spinning ball of rock. If you've ever wondered why I refer to it as that, to de-emphasize it, it's not our home, and you know that. You've always known. So thank you, and we'll see you again here on the next video.